That's right. Welcome to Rising Tides Live. I'm your host, Mike Bisceglia, filling in today for Shawn Walchef, who actually, I believe I just saw a post interviewed Dominic Sue, the very talented and former defensive end that was a beast. But we're here today. I'm with Cam Hardy. He's part of the Cali BBQ media team. Cam is our YouTube expert. And when I heard I was filling in for Shawn and Cam, I was excited to talk to you. We'll bring on the community in just a matter of moments. But Cam, say a little bit about who you are, your background, and then we'll talk about YouTube collaborations and really open the floor to YouTube in general. I think, and I'll say this since I've been working with you, like in the last couple of months, it seems like YouTube is evolving and changing in real time. So something I maybe learned or knew, like you always have to be learning about YouTube. So I'm excited to chat with you. I think the community will get a lot out of that as well. So good afternoon, Cam.
Hello. Thank you. You've oversold me in the introduction, and now I have to try and figure it out what I'm going to say.
Well, I will give one last note about Cam. I would say I probably Slack DM you the most out of anybody in this universe. I say I would bet on you and I have the most interactions on Slack. You get that award from me.
So it's always about something to do with YouTube as well. So it's very relevant to this
Yes.
one. I think you're right about YouTube changing all the time. Like I've been doing YouTube full time for like 5 years, and like it keeps you on your toes because it changes so much. Like all the time, they're always tweaking things. And then they tweak the algorithm and don't tell anyone. So it's beautiful. You always have these, like, you have the things they tell you about and the things they don't tell you about. So you're always trying to like stay one step ahead of an ever-changing platform. That's great. So I look forward to you and me being both confused moving forward as it keeps on changing.
Well, what is that with the, like, why do they do that? Or why are they, is there a reason they don't tell anybody? They take chances, they do the way they want to do things, and then you just kind of learn as you go along.
Basically, at the end of the day, they are trying to make the most money they can for the advertisers while juggling the needs of the creators too. So it's like two things at once. So you end up with it's nothing personal. They don't hate any particular creator or anything like that, or any particular like niche on the platform, but they have they have multiple needs to juggle all the time, and sometimes they do things that aren't were mistakes, so they have to walk back, or sometimes they do things that are responding to changes in content generally. So you saw YouTube Shorts is the biggest thing, almost. I think YouTube Shorts is the biggest thing that's happened to the platform, maybe in the history of the platform, almost. Along with live streaming, and Twitch made them adopt live streaming. TikTok made them, and Reels made them adopt short form. So it's always trying to stay ahead of other platforms as well. So it's like a mixture of like competition and staying relevant for them. So you've always got to just keep adapting to those things that we do. And obviously, with Cali, we look at everything in terms of what they do. Like Stover and Shawn are very keen for us to stay like on top of what they are bringing out, so that we are like, when everyone else is getting familiar with it, we were like 2 months ahead is kind of like the idea, hopefully. Right. And recently they brought out the collaboration feature. So this came out on Mr. Beast's channel first, I believe. And then you could do collaborations with like through the actual platform now, which is why we're talking about collaborations today. So you don't have to do the old way of doing collaborations where you tell people to go and look at the channel. Now you actually show up on another channel. So if we at Cali do a video with a collaboration partner, we can show up on their channel with our video. We don't have to it's no longer a case of like analog, just like telling people about where the video is. It's really cool. So you show up in their feed.
So as an example, if I were to interview you, you have a channel, I have a channel, you could set it up on YouTube where not even just for live, but let's say something that's been recorded, post-produced, and we're uploading to a channel. I upload it to mine. And what you're saying through collaboration, that video, that piece of content will then go on your channel as well, essentially, which, and I'll ask you about this, is huge because as you're trying to build your channel, if you can start networking with other like-minded folks, people that have similar content, that you can then attract an audience based on that collaboration.
Yeah, 100%. Like showing up on their feed. Like imagine the Mr. Beast example. Like he was the first person to get collaborated, so he's the biggest channel on the platform. And you are, I think the people he was collaborating with were talking like 1/10 the size of his channel, but their videos are now able to show up in his feed. So it's like the just the impressions and eyeballs you get. And obviously before that, you could have done it manually. So it would just be him shouting out or inviting someone onto his channel. But now they've skipped all of that. So you can literally just show up on someone's channel now with the video that you posted to your channel. So I think it's very interesting what they're trying to take. One of the let's be clear here, collaboration is one of the most powerful things you can do on YouTube, and it always has been. It's always been a recommendation for growing channels is that you try and collaborate if you can with someone in your niche, in the same sort of content as you. And if you get a collaboration with them, it can massively like overnight explode your channel. And this has been shown consistently since the beginning of YouTube. Basically, like shout outs are always a big thing and things of that nature. I know from my own experience that I would be happy to show as well from like a historic example of like what a collaboration can do for people who are trying to grow on YouTube. In fact, I can show it right now actually if that's
so has YouTube just recently made it easier to make it accessible for people to collaborate? Is that what they've done?
You still have to do the old school, like, get in touch with people. It's still outreach and it's still
right. You can't just randomly
invite someone to collaborate. Yeah. I actually don't know what happens if someone can get spammed with collaboration requests. I don't know if they made this like do you have to have like a certain or like already inbuilt interaction? Like we have, channels we're building. Is it easier for us to request?
You have to subscribe, maybe? I'd be curious.
These are the details I don't know yet because it's such a new feature.
Interesting.
Like, because Mr. Beast must be getting like a million spam requests for like collaboration like all the time.
Exactly.
So I just sent a request off the other day just to like check it out. So it's just a case of like it's fairly simple. You tag the channel you want to collab, and then it sends a message to the channel. So it's very straightforward. But in theory, it should grease the groove a little bit and make it a lot more of a systematic process than it used to be.
Are you able to share her, Cam? If not, it's okay. I'll bring the rest of the community up. Not a problem.
Yeah, sure. Let me try. I just wanted to show like a historic example of.
That'd be great. Yeah, and if not, just let me know. And then I'll open this up as well to the audience. We're talking about YouTube and collaborations, but generalized as well. Anything YouTube, questions for Cam. If you're building your show and your channel, if there's something you want to know, pick Cam's brain or just have a conversation about the topic in YouTube and just how it's exploding. It's always I always think about this, like in this moment, I'm like, oh man, I wish I started something 2 months ago or 3 months ago instead of this, but keep that focus to myself of it's still really in its infancy in all of this as people are growing and building all of their unique content. So I think it's really important to continue to do that. All right, Cam, it looks like I can add it to the stage. I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. Okay.
Cool. Let me know if we can see it.
We can see
all the screen slide. Cool. So this is the main channel that I've grown. It's the last 5 years of work on YouTube. It's a gardening channel, as per the name. And there was a specific moment. So you can see this is the subscriber growth since we started working on it pretty seriously. So that was August 2020, so like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was one moment in time when I was preparing for this that I wanted to talk about, which was, so around about here, we had just hit 1,000 subscribers. And somebody, a huge channel called Middle Size Garden, they have like, I think 127,000 subscribers. And at the time they had at least 100,000. And they would get like 100,000 of views, 80,000 views a video. And she wanted to come and interview Rosie and put the video on her channel. It was like a collaboration. She worked with Rosie to build the video, interviewed her, made a really nice video. And then, so we were celebrating hitting 1,000 subscribers. That video dropped, and you see here, we just went straight to 2,000 within a month.
Wow.
And it was like one of the I don't think we've ever had, because that's 100% increase in subscribers, which doesn't happen. Like that just doesn't, unless you have something like an outside force finding you or going viral, that doesn't happen. But this one collaboration to date, the biggest percentage growth we've ever had. Because as you can see afterwards, it's been very much more of like a consistent like thing, whereas this was just like a huge jump from 1,000 to 2,000 in the space of 1 month.
Yeah, it just has me.
I think. Sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead, Cam. I'm sorry.
Just like I was always told, like collaborations, especially if you are a smaller creator, just try and get a big channel collaboration, try and get something with someone ahead of you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we actually did it that I was like, oh, because I was watching like, you know, the numbers come in, stuff I'd never seen numbers like that before.
right. That's cool.
Media. Just like what was coming in, the attention we were getting. And I think the biggest thing as well is that it was that we were to do with the person who was collabing with us was in our exact niche and our exact content. So the growth that we got was suitable for us. Like it was like the sort of people who we wanted to come and watch the channel. So that's the second piece of advice I have is like, make sure the person you are collabing with, the audience you are getting from them wants to watch your content. Like you want to make sure, otherwise you're actually sort of harming yourself a little bit because you won't have anything for that audience that's coming. So you want to make sure you're always keeping it within a relevant collaboration rather than just like, you know, if we went to collaborate with Mr. Beast, his audience doesn't care about gardening. So that's why it's not suitable. But because we've got a massive gardening channel coming, look at us and recommend everyone watch the channel. That was exactly what we needed.
Yeah, it has me thinking, Cam, for my my basketball show to look for the appropriate the other YouTube shows to do collaborations, because we've always like invited guests on, which has helped, but the collaboration aspect of it is opening up that channel to all of that other person's subscribers. I think is super beneficial and helpful. All right, cool. So with that, I'm going to bring up the rest of the community. Thank you, Cam, for sharing that information, taking us on the back end of everything that you've been doing with your mom and the channel as it has grown. So we'll open up the channel. We'll open up to the community here. Bruce Nelson was first in the green room. So I'll throw it over to Bruce, who you are, what you're working on, thoughts on YouTube collaboration, anything YouTube in general, and the floor is yours.
Sounds great. Thanks. Good morning, everybody. Bruce Nelson, restaurant CFO, live in the Midwest here, Minneapolis, and just getting busy. You're wondering what CFOs work on this time of year. We were working on a lot of 2026 budgets. So I've been very deep in a lot of those with my clients. YouTube wise, I don't know how much I have to offer to this conversation today because, I have a channel. I do post some videos there, but it's not a medium that I spend a lot of time in, although something Cam said about YouTube seems to be universal with every social media platform, and that is just trying to figure out how the thing works. And the minute you think you got it down, then something changes and you're always adapting. So for me, I'm more interested in learning how to get through the adapting without spending too much time.
Yeah, it's like a hydra. Like you cut the one head and then two heads will come back. Yeah. It's that kind of monster. I think I've always felt like if you stick to like the core principles of like video content, you will do well. I think they always like, you hear it a lot with like content, like give value is the big one in terms of like, especially in like more business orientated. We're very much more like focusing on teaching and that kind of thing as well. And like obviously there are entertainment channels, but I've always tried to build teaching channels, and we do that a lot with Cali as well. So it's always focusing on that side of things, like how effectively can you pass your information across. And I think no matter what they do with the algorithms and everything, that sort of like value shines through all the time. So yeah, whatever your core principles around like why you're doing this, like who you're trying to help, that will always be what to stick to. And then juggling like the what best practices and stuff like that as they change is, as much as it's an ongoing battle, it's not, I don't think it's as important as like staying true to like what you want to make and what you want to put out there. But yeah, I understand it's very like, it is frustrating. It's one of those things like, oh, I've got the hang of this and now I don't, and now I've got the hang of this again. And yeah, but I think.
Do you have any insight why they keep moving the target on us? I mean, there's got to be some kind of business reason why the minute we figure something out, they move it.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, they don't want people exploiting the system anyway. So they have a lot of people testing. They have, entire teams that are just built to test exploiting. So like, because they don't want bad content succeeding is one thing. So they don't want like bad content exploiting the algorithm. So they have like almost like a red team style thing but it's not cybercrime. It's like exploitation. And then they have, as I said, they have pressures versus competitors. So they have to try and keep the eyeballs on YouTube versus TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, any live streaming platform. They've done a really good job actually in terms of like their streaming is better than Twitch, I think, these days. So they're actually one of the better competitors. So I think they're pretty confident what they're doing is successful in terms of like how often. And I do think they try not to do too many big updates. It just feels like there's a lot. Like I feel like they try and do them every 6 months is typically the cadence that a lot of the YouTube guys I follow, in terms of like, I follow a lot of YouTube guru people to try and keep track of everything. And the general advice is like the changes come every 6 months or so. And they try and do them during down periods. So you always expect like changes to happen. A couple of big ones happened like a month ago. Or like 2 months ago. So it's like, it's always trying to be like when a down period of like the holidays come around, you can always expect a couple of tweaks to the algorithm and like the way things are done. I think new features, they come in and come out as based on how well they perform. Like they've gotten rid of things before and they've abandoned things, and they test things in beta a lot more now. So you see a lot more like things show up in like beta form and you may not always get the feature. I think they have improved that side of things because they used to just roll out features and be like, here they are. But now they seem to test it a lot better. So yeah, I'm a bit more confident that they've got that one a bit better down.
Yeah. Have you noticed that they're less likely to play with other platforms? I've noticed, I read on Substack, and I would often copy a YouTube video to emphasize some of my writing. And I'm starting to see on Substack that content's being blocked. Now that might be Substack blocking because they don't want to move people from Substack back to YouTube. But are you seeing that just across the industry where these platforms are less likely to want to play in another medium that might move their clients away?
Yeah, we try not to like, I mean, we do link YouTube videos directly on the blog, I think, don't we, Mike? But we would prefer to do native video if we can. That doesn't take you through to YouTube. It makes sense. You don't want traffic moving. You want traffic to stay on the page. So that does make a lot of sense to me if it's Substack's decision, probably more so than YouTube. YouTube wants you to click through. So. Yeah. I mean, YouTube wants you to click through and watch more videos. Like, so they want you to get off your email, basically, which is unfortunate.
And with that algorithm, Cam, is there like intentionality to these videos are coming your way in a certain order to try to keep you on there as long as possible? Like that to me is wild, right? Like just it knows what you like and it's feeding it to you, and then all of a sudden it's been 11 minutes later. You're like, what happened?
So watch time became the standard like a few years ago. So they moved away from views to watch time, and that's what they sell advertisers on too. So it's like they sell advertisers on like, this is how much watch time we get. It's almost like they're competing with TV. Like when they realized they were competing with television, they switched to watch time. So like when you do A/B testing for thumbnails, it tells you how much watch time the thumbnail produced. When you do other stuff, they tell you this is how much watch time, and they base everything off watch time. So it's become really, it just doesn't, people don't really focus as much on impressions and views, what they do on TikTok and they do on Instagram. It's more about impressions. So I think it's interesting that I actually prefer it. I think that was a good decision by YouTube to focus on engagement and investment into the content. So yeah, I don't think impressions means anything personally. Like if you're on Twitter, like they show you like 10 million impressions. And like that was, someone had it on the corner of their screen or something, but they never looked at it, and that's an impression. But on YouTube, you can count on the views and the watch time being way more accurate in terms of like how the actual analytics bear out. So yeah, it's one of those ones where like you've got to play like to what they want, like play the game the way they want it to be played if you want to succeed. Like that's the way all these platforms kind of work. So I don't. Also, I split YouTube Shorts and long form in my mind in terms of like what they want, because on YouTube Shorts they want more like views, and on long form they want watch time. So you just kind of almost view them as two separate things, and then live streaming is also separate. It's all on the same platform, but it is separate games to some extent.
Interesting. So I've more questions in my brain, but we'll keep it moving around. But that's interesting about the watch time with long form compared to shorts. Almost looking at it like two different entities. Jason Berkowitz, who you are, what you're working on, and talking YouTube.
Jason Berkowitz, longtime restaurant operator, partner, founder, Arrow Up Training. We help restaurants satisfy their compliance, level up their teams, and develop their supervisors into leaders. Their supervisors are the bridge between what you expect and what you get. So we're heavily focused on investing in them, which kind of is carrying over to something that we've been working on in the leveling up the teams. And if you have any input on, we're launching a free website for training teams across the states. A lot of courses that we feel that aren't compliance based, and we're like, you know what, let's just give them away. And so we're hosting that through Learn Worlds, and it's wearrowup.com. And it's great. Something that I'm trying to blend and balance with it is I'd love to even sort of limit the firewall to get there. And I've thought about how do I leverage YouTube with this as well, just to make it accessible. So we have new team members, right? And so every new team member, I just want them to click, go, and watch. The problem is it's not just watching, it's engagement. There's a little bit of the courses. So I don't know if there's anything with YouTube that, can we first get an email before anyone watches anything, if there's something like that, because I do want that capture and that data. And then if you firewall it or not. And then 2, is there some sort of way that you can make it interactive within YouTube where I can take my course apart and sort of put it back together, where it's a series of videos and a series of things? Because that'd be great. It would still solve what we're looking to solve. Train people, get it out there, get the brand out there. Do you see anything like that with YouTube coming down the pipeline? Or for now, we just got to firewall it behind a free course page?
They've been promising courses for a while, and I don't think they haven't delivered yet. That's like, I think Spotify got courses out there before YouTube did, but YouTube has been talking about it potentially for like 5 years.
Launch, like you can build courses and launch it.
Yeah. They were talking about this for ages, because everyone was like, why don't you have all of the back end, it seems, to be able to have a course section in YouTube? And then I don't know, it has never really come out in terms of like actually some sort of course, because you think it would make sense. Like, they don't even have to leave the platform. They can just pay and they end up in the course section of YouTube. So yeah, I was amazed that Spotify got there first.
Where's Spotify? I mean, Spotify does engagement interactive courses.
They have some form of courses on Spotify. Yeah, I haven't looked too much into it, but when the fact that you can go on courses on Spotify.
All right, I'll check it out.
If you search on it. I don't know if that would work, because Spotify has video. So it could work. I'd be quite a bit outside the box. It doesn't sound like what you need is available on YouTube. It would be doable, sort of, but you'd have to probably build a web page and then host YouTube. And then, it would just be like, you might as well use Wistia or one of the other video places. Sorry.
Or at that point, just use what we've got, which is a platform where you just put in your email and your stuff, and you're off and you're launching, you're going. The end goal is to eventually get collaborations with other brands that will pay for it, right? And so it's sort of a sponsorship. YouTube works well if we did it with that, where if it was just the videos, but there's still, you can make money off the commercial reach, but not off the impressions, right? Because you get $10,000, I think, per every million views or something. What's the pay rate that you would get, right?
It's
something
views.
Like that.
It does depend. Like the RPM depends on like what you're in terms of which subject matter you're in and stuff. Like I think certain ones are higher, but it's usually like 10 CPM is $10 on average, and then 5 for the RPM. So it's 10. You and YouTube make 10, and then you split half. So we make like $5. Yeah, RPM is per 1,000. So it's $5 per 1,000 basically.
Okay.
That's a very standard one. I have seen channels of like 20, because they do like finance advice and some
right. So do that math. It's less than what we're pushing, but I know from music, from like my band and from what they're doing, it's great. I mean, music's still sending residual checks and stuff like that, which is great through YouTube. There's not enough employees or restaurants out there to make sense to use it as a content play for that. It still, to me, is a push to either push your content out there, get people to where you need it, drive them to sort of the larger business model. It sounds like. I do look forward to the mashups of the podcasts coming in with the collaborations. That's going to be fun. See what happens with restaurant influencers and other podcasts coming about.
What are you using for your? I use Teachable for course hosting at the moment. Do you guys use a specially made one that you made yourselves?
We have our own that we do for smaller mom and pops and everything that we push for this one, because we just kind of want nobody on the back end be able to do it, is Learn Worlds is one that we use, and then we white label it for that. We've also been using that for, there's larger brands that we work with that they just like it. We'll host a compliance course, they click on it, they share it, and it goes to, you know, tens of thousands of people that we're training, which is awesome. But for this, because I want zero legwork on the back end, I know it works, it's bulletproof, it looks pretty. Learn Worlds, and we white labeled it as Arrow Up, and it's really simple and frictionless. I even wanted it more accessible to a 16-year-old, right, or an 18-year-old to just grab their phone, go watch it, get the information, and hit the ground running.
Okay. Do we have
the problem with just videos are you lose the engagement and the interactivity of it. And that's important, right? Otherwise you're just, and even though our videos are short and fun and everything about them that we love, I think it needs to be a sit forward experience either way for people to actually learn something. So that's
do you have like quizzes and stuff as well? And things like that. Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we build our courses in like Articulate and other stuff, and then we upload it to Learn Worlds, or we'll upload it to other people's LMSs. I mean, it's a good ecosystem. I just want something, you know, like that YouTube can do for sort of this entry point.
I really do think they need to, well, they don't need to do anything, but I feel like if they brought out courses a while ago, it would have been a good idea.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
I'll just keep searching for that on the back end there. And now, you know, if you hear anything about it, Jason Berkowitz.
Is the idea basically, if it's courses on YouTube, that then it makes it easier to share the link, get it to other people, get the video out there in just an easy interactive way? Is that kind of the idea of blending the two together if available?
For me, yeah. I mean, and maybe we'll see if there's, I'm about removing as much friction as possible. Sort of just that, also that understanding of like, I've got the app, or I know how to use it. It's already on their phone. They'll grab it, they'll open it. Now, some people don't like blending their personal stuff with work stuff, because then also the algorithm's going to show them all that. And, you know, that became a whole problem with like people creating Facebook pages for their restaurants, and everyone's joining, but they're like, I got my social life interacting with and they just, people didn't like that as much. And from a liability perspective, from a restaurant owner myself, I'm like, I want to keep it separate, right? I don't want to bring that together. I like that if your Instagram is following our Instagram page and we're highlighting certain things that are going, I think that's great. But, you know, sharing what data you're watching. So that's another problem that I'm concerned, actually, as we talk about it with YouTube, is, you know, I let my godson come over and watch one YouTube show. That's it. My algorithm is blown up from a 6-year-old who just, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to, well, he's older than Bluey, but whatever it is, you know, I had to literally go down and go deep down rock and roll or just music things to show me the shows I wanted to get. I had to overcompensate.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's interesting because I share a login on YouTube with my co-host, and sometimes I'll log in and go, I didn't watch this. What is this? Like, I'm like, oh, that's right, I shared this with somebody. That makes sense. Like, this material's here. It's like, I have no memory of seeing any of this.
Right.
You must do the same thing, vice versa.
European gardening, but Rosie shared the channel.
Exactly. Good stuff. All right, Elizabeth Doss, you're up next. Who you are, what you're working on, and talking YouTube. Any questions for Cam as well?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I don't have my mic today, so hopefully you can hear me. Okay, cool. My name is Elizabeth Doss. I am a social media content creator and a social media manager, but I help people, especially in the realm of animated GIFs, going live on Giphy. My GIFs have been viewed over 6 billion times, and I've helped my other brands and businesses be viewed over 5 billion times. If you're interested, please let me know. And GIFs do work on YouTube, not in the comments, but you can actually post them in like the community section if you want to have fun with your community, which is what it's all about. What am I working on today? So I work with a real estate agent, and today I was working on a YouTube video. Like, I would like to think that it took as long to edit this video as the length of the video, but this 12-minute video of talking about tax reassessments on property, and I want to go run outside and hug a tree or something afterwards. I'm like, oh Anyway, super fun stuff, you guys. But no, I have a good time doing that. But so playing with YouTube on that side of things, because I just create the content for her and she has somebody internally that's posting it. But and I've done some YouTube stuff and I do live stream. And Cam, I think I was on you did a show a while ago about, and like, so I just want to reiterate this, that I thought it was fascinating that YouTube treats, like when you think of a YouTube channel, there's sections across the top of it and they treat each of those differently. Like you were saying, the watch time, the longer form content, they're looking at the watch time. The shorts, they're looking at how many views it's getting. The live stream is its own beast. And it's like, it doesn't necessarily even get circulated in search. And so taking the live stream content and repurposing it to put it in the main feed is what's going to actually help it be searchable, because that may not necessarily work out for you. So thinking through all the different sections of YouTube and doing that, I wanted to respond to Jason and his question, and I don't know that this would necessarily work, but YouTube does offer the difference between public videos, unlisted videos, and private videos. And so there is a way that you can create playlists or other videos that are unlisted so that only people that have the link to that video can access it. So that's one way to work around. But private videos, their email address has to be added to that list for them to have access to that video. So it would be someone else would have to do the work to make sure that that person had access to those videos and they couldn't reshare them with other people. So there are a couple of features in YouTube that you can do that. But again, there's no interactivity. So I don't know that you would necessarily like that part. But what would be interesting is if they could do a side-by-side with like the platform that they're using. But if they wanted to watch the video of YouTube on the TV or something, you could have that link potentially in there. I don't know. There might be a way to work that out. So I was thinking about that. Also, Cam, I did see that Dean LeBay, who's normally on the show with us, asked a question. And so I'm just going to read you his question from YouTube. He said, about the watch time thing that you said, is there a preference on watching to the end of a video as it relates to leaving before the video is finished? And so I wanted to throw that question at you. Oh, I can't hear you.
I know, I realized I was muted. That was good. I did that. I knew I was going to do that once this stream at least. All right. So there's two different things. There's retention. Watch time is like just the raw number. So you take across everyone who watches it. Like if you take the average of how much they watch. So if you had 100 people watch the whole thing, and then seventh, 4,000 people didn't watch 2 minutes, it would take the average. But you can also look at your retention graphs. And then it tells you things like the percentage of people that made it to certain sections. So it's the two different analytics you want to look at. The mistake some people make is they take their watch time and think that's when the drop-off happened. That's not how you work out where drop-offs are. Drop-offs are inside your retention graphs. And it shows you people were watching and then dropped off here. And so they were study the video. YouTube is very big on giving you hints. They're study the video and work out why. And usually it's because you advertise something or something. Some people dropped off. So yeah, those are the two things. They are looking for the average. They base a lot of stuff on the average watch time because they want to tell advertisers this is how many hours people watched our content. Essentially, I think that's the main reason. They go into they sell the advertising based on those sort of figures. So that's why they're pushing the creators to focus on that. They won't. The number of adverts you can get into videos is dependent on how long the video is as well, I think. So they were trying to push people to make by pushing watch time, people will make longer videos, which means they can serve more ads in the videos too. There's all these things to be thinking about, how are YouTube thinking and why are they doing this and what's the incentives? It's interesting because when I first started on YouTube, they said people would often say, make 5-6 minute videos. Now, if you look around YouTube, there is significantly more people making either hour long, really long, or they're making around 15-20 minute videos. It really shifted. In the teens, the 20 teens, whatever you call it, it was very much 5-6 minute, 8 minute videos. And now I think the standard of 15 is way more common.
And then I had one more question, and then I'll hand it back on the collaboration thing, because you mentioned that Mr. Beast had that. So I went out to look because I wanted to see, oh, what does this look like? And I see in like on my my phone, I didn't look at it on a desktop, but it does under the title of it on his platform. It has his name and fill in the blank, whoever that person is. But what I was interested in is I went over to that person's page, and they also had a video that was their name and Mr. Beast, but it was not the same video. And so even though they are tagging people in it, is it not cross posting it? Is it just tagging that person in it? Because like on Instagram, when you do a collaboration, it posts it on both things. And so I was just curious with your experience, if you're collaborating with someone, does it post it on both, or was that just a fluke? I'm just curious.
You have to accept. So it's like the collaboration is accepted on both sides, but I'm having to work out roughly. I'm trying to find the NFL one that Mr. Beast did, because I remember seeing that come up. 1 second. Just double checking this in real time. Oh, that's probably not the best one. Wait, Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast was collaborating between his two channels. So it's very confusing. It's like Mr. Beast 1 and Mr. Beast 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting to see. It's a very, very new feature. I haven't used it personally yet, but I have seen it.
About like maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. It's the first time I'd heard anything about.
Yeah, he was the first person to get it, I believe, because like I don't remember seeing anyone else have it first. And then it was a case of like trying to figure out. It mostly puts your name into another feed. The main thing I heard was you end up in someone else's feed. That was like the idea.
Oh, okay.
So it may be a case of it won't show up in your feed, but you will show up in theirs, is like basically the idea behind it.
Which I guess will give you more value if you really want what's on their feed. If it's use Mr. Beast as the extreme example.
I believe you could also, the other thing is you can also hide whatever you want on your feed. So it's hard to always tell as well, but from the outside. I'm playing around with it. I've sent off a few requests between friends and stuff. I'm going to be playing around with it. We only got this like last week, I think, is when I got the collaboration stuff come through. So it's going to be a case of, but as you see, the main thing you can see is that like there are now 2 channel names in the, and then when you click on it, you can direct yourself to either channel, which is quite cool.
Cam, did you have to send out a request to get the collaboration? Or are you saying just a week ago, it all of a sudden popped up and was there as something you could use?
No, you get it. Like everyone's got it now. Yeah. I've got it on all my channels. I think my main channel. I've got channels that aren't. Sorry, go ahead.
So one thing I was going to say while you were looking that up is if you don't have a YouTube channel and you are doing podcasts and you are doing collaborations that show up on YouTube, you might want to set up your channel and get some content on there, because if there is this collaboration feature, there's a possibility of you sharing audiences and being seen, etc. So I just want to encourage people that if this is a part of your marketing strategy, doing podcasts and other things, make sure that you have a channel that they can collab with. Back to you, Cameron. I'm done.
It doesn't split. Yeah, it means that they will you'll get recommendations to their audience by doing the collab. I think it's a way of like, that's what YouTube specifically says. So showing up in their feed is not as good as getting recommendations. 2 things that YouTube, so this is something I was going to say earlier, 2 things that YouTube changed. Subscribers don't matter anywhere near as much as they used to. In like 5-10 years ago, if you had subscribers, that was like a huge chunk of your views. Nowadays, it's mostly algorithm based, so it's more about who YouTube recommends your video to. But if YouTube is correct when they say that they are going to use the audience recommendations with your collaborators, you will now get that boost that they would get for any new video. So that is the main benefit I can see from what they've released here. So like Mr. Beast was giving some of his impressions basically to his second channel and the NFL. So that was like, it was basically a way of like hijacking the impressions from a bigger channel essentially, which is what collaborations are always meant to be. When you got shouted out or featured on a channel, it was like the person would be like, now my audience, please go follow their channel. So it's like basically the same thing, but it's that now actually within the algorithm rather than just a call to action.
Right. Cool. Good information. Thank you, Elizabeth. Great questions. Thank you, Cam. Vincenzo, what you working on and questions for Cam or thoughts on YouTube and collaborations.
Very good. Thanks, Mike. Cam, great to meet you. Hello, everybody. Vincenzo here, based in Southwest Florida. I'm essentially at the intersection of restaurant operations, venture capital, and restaurant tech startup building and advising, and typically use YouTube videos for constructing solution workshops, right? Product webinars. And the last thing that I'm just now recently exploring is deal pitching and distributing that in a targeted way using YouTube to essentially reach scale, as you might propose, opportunities that exist, right? And my question to you is, what are some of the, what are some of the approaches that Google is supporting YouTube on as it relates to production of your YouTube videos using some of the latest, AI agents or technologies? And then lastly, is there a checklist you can share with us that might exist somewhere as it relates to how you might produce the video and then optimize it for the algorithms that exist, right? Yeah, that's basically it.
I should definitely write a checklist. That's a good idea. There are lots of guys I follow in terms of like they have those sort of checklists, but it's not so much business focused. My favorite business focused channel, again, this is the problem. I can't give you like a really quick like checklist pamphlet or something.
Yeah,
I feel like
maybe a resource, a middle one, right? Or you can share it in the near future if you can figure one out.
Yeah, I'll definitely follow up if I can. The problem, a lot of who I follow, the majority of voices in the space are B2C. That is an important point to remember. Like a lot of the best business advice for YouTube is still B2C. I think the B2B space on YouTube is growing, but like we don't have, I feel like there's no leading figure yet for like B2B almost in terms of like who you point to, but like how to use it. Your point about AI is interesting because they're bringing out so much integration with VO3. And not to the best reception, but I must add to some people because like people are not happy that like some of the biggest shorts on the platform are now just AI generated. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm always cautious with AI created content because it seems to attract a lot of bots like to view it. So it's one of those weird things where it becomes like a bot tar pit for like pure AI content. So I'm always like, I don't know about it yet in terms of like the viability because it's so new. Like, can you just create all of your content with AI? That question remains to be answered, like, especially from like business standpoint as well, because it's not been answered in like the general sense yet either. So yeah, we'll have to see as VO3 gets used over the next year or two. I don't feel confident giving a definitive answer on using VO3. In terms of what we use, I think the transcripting stuff is so useful. Basically, you can pull transcripts from basically anything on YouTube now, pretty much. And it's fairly decent. It's better than Adobe. Was accused to scrap on Adobe's transcripting. But yeah, the ability now to just go to a channel and pull their transcripts is insane. Like I actually can't believe you can like that's just something you can do now. But yeah, that's the era we live in where you can just get the contents of video so fast and get it analyzed so fast. I think that's where most of the current advantages are in terms of like research essentially and things like that. And also your ability to like create more different types of content from one video because of this as well. Like you can turn everything into like multiple articles, like realistically if you wanted to. Like you had a 5-step, your pitch could be like multiple different articles about it or whatever, or like multiple forms of written things, which helped as well, I assume. Do you like create a pitch deck and then do a video? Is that like the way you would do it?
Yeah,
or do the other way around?
That becomes like the backbone behind a potential presentation that you might create, right? Because just providing, text in the form of like, let's say a pitch deck, it's great and all, but making a personal connection through a video is just way more effective. And I'm starting to learn that more and more people are getting better results through that pathway. So
you could do video first, pitch deck second, almost now in that way, as in like you take the pitch deck from the video.
Yeah, you link it together. You pitch through the video. Maybe it's a 3 to 5 minute video, and then you tie in your deck. But I think having the video on the front end is just very powerful. as far as getting interest and engagement. So
where does YouTube come in that place then for you, Vincenzo? Is it because are you looking to sort of share it open with anyone at that point, or is it still targeted, but it's just sort of a hosting platform?
Well, it's targeted, and you basically pick your targeted approach as far as a spend, right?
So you'd want to be an advertising push. So,
Exactly.
so you're okay with it being open in public. You want to leverage YouTube's advertising, Facebook or whatnot, and say, this is the package. I'm going to push this to who I think would be.
Yeah.
Got it.
Essentially, what does it do? It helps you scale prospecting the proposal, right? So you put together an ad spend and then you target, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because then it's not gated. This sort of, it's a different, right? It's two sort of things. One is that abundant sort of philosophy, which is tell everybody, but be focused and let the information be open. You don't have to hold it so tight to your chest. And then the other one is, proposals and decks and things that I've received and have shared, which is password protected.
Sure.
Sign an MNDA before you get involved in it. It's probably where it is in the look. Everyone's learning more and more into anything. Anyone could have an idea. Building that idea is where the is where the.
And to your point, Jason, where it's less guarded is in crowdfunding, right? And that's where somebody might really lean into a YouTube platform because crowdfunding you want to try to get the name out there. You're trying to get it in front of as many people as possible, and it doesn't always have to be an accredited investor. It's just an everyday person, right? As it relates to crowdfunding. So I think that's a big opportunity, and I'm just trying to learn more on where YouTube might be with that and providing a solution, for the need that might exist there, because there's a big need for it. And we're slowly moving into that direction, right?
And not to hijack this point, Cam, but what based on what you said and what I'm seeing is it's almost like find the videos, like search, and Google will show you the videos that do this. Then take those transcripts, download those transcripts, take the idea you have, drop all those into ChatGPT or the bot of choice, and then take that thing apart and say, this is what's working, this is what's not, this is what I like. Then you build your script, you produce that, put that together, use that as the attraction, and then link them to the actual deck outside.
Yeah. And it can even go a step further. If you know the screening criteria for a fund,
right,
you can connect that transcript to that. So you're only getting qualified leads, right?
Yeah. And you use it on that in Facebook and you push it very targeted as it learns within itself.
It works like magic if you actually, dial that all in correctly, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I know it's kind of tangent off on AI and chat, but I almost look at and just kind of macro view of what you're talking about. But before there was when email came, it just sped up the work of business because you could send something in a second. And in my head, ChatGPT just enables you taking these transcripts to just move at a faster speed so that you're still doing the same work, but you're just able to get from point A, B, C, D so much faster and efficiently that you can scale your business quicker because you have the ability to take a transcript, feed it to ChatGPT, help you be your assistant there, as opposed to an hour of reading it, taking notes, right? In real time, it's going to take longer. So I think all this super valuable information. Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool to be able to grab the other transcript because everyone should be taking their own transcripts and their own calls and their own podcasts and their own stuff and our own courses and feed that beast. Cam, I like what I'm taking away is go to YouTube of what's working or inspiring you and grab that transcript as well and include that in some sort of metric.
I think with YouTube specifically, this is a rule. I'm not going to explain pitching to someone who pitches for a living, obviously, but with the YouTube side of things, that first minute is what really is important with YouTube. And I don't know how. I assume you always struggle, like you always do with pitches as well. You understand that the beginning is the most important part for.
Yeah, you've got to nail the
snaring people into interest.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point, Cam. Yeah.
But I think with YouTube, if you're going to spend 90% of your time scripting anything, it is the first minute. It's it's always that especially if you're paying, with ads as well, isn't it? It's the first minute or so. But you can, with paid promotion, we've seen. I know with Cali, I don't know, Mike. You've heard from clients and stuff that the stuff we make with Cali has done quite well on paid promotion in terms of it gets, and it's all about the fast pace and the interest in that first little bit of time you get with someone. And that always drags them further in. And you notice with all YouTube videos, the best intros end up with the best watch time overall. So the best performing introductions always end up with the best retention, because once you get people past that first minute and a half, they're going to be there for another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's why we do a lot of work with cold opens and not to get something that draws your attention in right away, as opposed to a full introduction where it's like, all right, next. Like, I got to know right now to continue staying. That's important. Matty Smokes, who you are, what you're working on, and thoughts here on the YouTube combo.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matty Smokes here, owner, pitmaster, chef. I run Matty Smokes Barbecue and Catering, serving the greater Long Island area with exceptional barbecue and hospitality, bringing that restaurant experience right into people's homes. I'm also owner of JJ Cooper's Bar and Restaurant in the City by the Sea. I'm excited to share that lately I'm working on a podcast of my own, What's on Fire with Matty Smokes, and it's all about food and beverage startups. And so YouTube is super new to me, and got to say, everything you guys do is pretty amazing. I know there's a lot behind it and it takes a lot of work. So for me, listening to the collaborations and everything, obviously, that's crucial on everything, whether it's collaborations on Instagram have always been great for me. So would you say when starting all of this and getting our YouTube videos rolling, we're talking about watch time and the algorithm and getting views, collaboration, getting on people's feed, is it a little more important for me to be focusing on my long form videos and getting people hooked and watching them and making sure to keep them, or more viewers and short form to kind of compound that? But obviously it's a little easier to keep a captive audience for a minute and a half than it is for 45 minutes.
So you just started doing the podcast. How many episodes are we talking?
So from what I was understanding, I'm working on 15 episodes first to release 10 of them, 10 weeks straight, and then try to get to an every other week. So right now, nothing's been released, but I'm working on all my content behind the scenes. So I'm on episode 7 at this point with, in each episode, I've got 5 shorts that I'm working on. Thank you, guys. I'm working on 5 shorts for each of those that I know for TikTok and Instagram, those shorts are going to be crucial to kind of generate the traffic to YouTube. But just figuring out where to dedicate my time. It's a lot of work between the getting it ready, who I'm interviewing, how I'm going to run the interview, the pre-interview, then, the producing from there on out. But so maybe am I spending too much time on shorts? I don't know, where should I be dedicating time? Because once it gets rolling, I'm sure I'm hoping to get traction to it, but should I be editing my long form a little bit more to retain the audience, or just keeping it natural and authentic? Because sometimes the natural and authentic, you're getting big lag time in there where somebody just kind of goes on their rant. Should I be cutting that out and keeping the audience captive? You see where I'm going with it all? Like, I know my shorts, I'll be able to captivate people much better, but I'm only holding them on for a minute.
Yeah. So if I was managing your channel, like as in I was to say that took over or whatever, and you're still there, but I'm taking over just like a bit of creative control. In the early stages, so like the first year or so, I am essentially trying everything and being very agnostic towards the approach. Like I think that's always been how we approach every channel as well. We have more of a throw stuff against the wall kind of approach in that first year or so. It sounds like you're doing really well to already have everything started in terms of rolling and getting all the production in. That's good. Part of it's actually learning about how to manage the production. It sounds like you're finding it a lot of work, but eventually it does get easier and it does get more natural involved into the rest of your work life as well. So there's several things. I have a lot of empathy, or understanding is the right word, for people who've just started, because you're overwhelmed by the workload and also you have no idea what's going to work, and also all of these things. So if I can just tell you, if you can try and have an agnostic mindset towards what is going to work, because you don't have the data yet to suggest, and I can give you some advice on I would say like focus more on like the beginnings of your videos for the long form, like focus on getting that first like minute to 2 minutes really tight and like really interesting. That's the main piece of advice I'd give you. But I wouldn't want to give you 50 pieces of advice to like when you're just getting started. I'd want you to focus like 1 to 2 to 3 things across everything. And then you can see from your own data what's like hooking people. And people have different styles as well. Like different styles suit different people. So like you could find that you are very good at shorts and they captivate a lot of people, but then you find that your long form is like needs a bit of work and not as much of a natural in that area. And so that's the area that you focus on more. It might even be like you're super good at the long form and you barely have to try to get people to be interested. So you're in discovery phase in terms of like what works. So I try and encourage like a curious agnostic mindset towards the whole process. And then pick 1 or 2 things you're going to focus on and see if they make any difference in the early stages.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, Cam.
If I could jump in too. So one major thing is the workflow side of things. Like, so if I have a longer piece of film that I'm editing, I'll do the YouTube video first. Like I'll edit that down and then I'll go back and take out the bits from that to then edit that. So that you're
Elizabeth, you saved me with that. I've been using Descript.
Oh, okay. That's great too. That's
I appreciate that.
Half the problems is being able to edit text-based editing and AI pulling out the clips for you and stuff. But the other thing, and I don't know if Descript offers this or not, but for one of my clients today, we were looking at scheduling apps, especially if you're creating short form video content and you're posting to multiple places at once. It'll save you probably 4 to 5 hours a month or a lot more if you get a scheduling app that can post to YouTube Shorts, to LinkedIn, to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, where you upload it once, add the caption once, make adjustments a little bit for each of them, but it will save you having to dive into each platform and doing it. So programs like Later is one that does it, or Buffer is one that I'm looking at too, because they actually do the Google business profile as well. So you can add it. So Buffer, I think it's $5 per channel. So that Facebook would be a channel, Instagram, LinkedIn. So that kind of adds up. But I think Later is you get one of each of those in like their bundle. So anyway, just kind of shopping a scheduling app might save you on the short form content if you're trying to send it to multiple places at once.
Well, when I was scheduling the schedule, like shopping the scheduling apps, it just seemed like there weren't really ones out there that covered your TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But there would be ones that cover 3 or 4, but nothing actually covered all of them. Are you guys encountering the same thing?
Sometimes it's what it might be is that you have to add extra channels to it. They may give you 3 channels in the package, but then you have to add them on. Later, I was posting to all of the ones that you mentioned at once. On Buffer, I think it's the same thing that you can post to all those channels at once. So,
and I guess lastly, would Later allow you to get across, like YouTube wasn't allowing me to schedule further ahead than I think it was 30 days. There was a limitation on how many days out you could schedule. Would Later allow me? Anyone else encounter that, or is that just me?
I've never scheduled that far out, so I haven't even looked to know the answer. That's a really good question. I'm actually curious. I'm going to try and just see like what does it let me do?
Because like I was trying to do a January release for the entire podcast.
Oh.
But at this point, I can't start scheduling more than the 30 days out to set up the whole release, and then kind of fill in the blanks as I was producing. All right, I'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Was this a short form, or was this long form?
A little bit of both. I don't remember.
Okay. You can schedule more than a month out in long form. I know that for certain.
Okay, so maybe
I don't think I've ever scheduled a short that far out. That'd be.
I think it was shorts. I do think it was shorts, and I was kind of just trying to set up, an entire months of a release, and then filling in gaps as new content was coming in.
Interesting. Okay. I know long form. I've scheduled long form out that long, but I've never.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a reason to get a short and be like a year out or anything like that. I'll see if I can.
I mean, it was a few months.
No, I like it if you're planning ahead and you want to, you have the time now, get the work done. I totally understand that. I want to say just one comment as well, Matt, for your ideas. Think about complementary videos as well. So even though it's a long form then to short form, think about something outside that could complement your videos. And I'll use an example for me. My podcast, Bad Weather Fans, I'm a Nets fan. My co-host is a Knicks fan. And we weren't getting much traction with our shorts. Like we would take the long form video, take them to short form. They didn't do much. Some did better than others, but for the most part, nothing. But what we found was instant reactions to games. And then videotaping or filming us reacting to moments in the games actually did really well and had high performance and would take people then to the long form to subscribe. But it was nothing from our show. It was just something from our channel that would help bring to the long form. So think that way as well, outside the box, if there's something that maybe, even if it's not directly from the show itself, that could take people back if it's part of that universe of the show you're creating.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. All right, we'll do takeaway. Oh, go ahead, Cam.
I just scheduled something a year out, so I'm not sure what the problem with what's stopping that on Maddie's side.
On long form or short form?
Short form, yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out again.
In a year,
maybe it's something to do with the software that can't do it, but you can do it manually inside the studio. I don't know what that would be.
In a year from now, you're gonna have a video pop up, and you'll be like, "What the hell is this?" Like, I don't remember doing.
I'm deleting it. I'm deleting it. It's so good.
Like, we don't remember scheduling this. But tip, takeaway, homework, assignment. Bruce, kick us off.
Yeah, first of all, Maddie, I'm excited about your new podcast. So let us know when that drops. I think my big tip here is to understand how restaurants need to utilize these media tools. I was sitting here thinking about this. It's like nobody ever got in the restaurant business because they love to look at balance sheets. And nobody really got into this business because they thought, I want to be a social media guru. But yet you can't survive if you don't figure out the balance sheet, and you can't survive and grow if you can't figure out how to utilize social media for your restaurants. So my takeaway is going to be how to play with that in my next article I write.
Very true, Bruce. Very, very true. Elizabeth, tip, takeaway, homework, assignment.
Well, one, I love what Bruce just said, because one thing about educating yourself on all these things is when you're ready to hand it off to someone else, you understand the value of what you're asking them to do, because now you don't have to do it anymore. And so it makes social media person's job a whole lot easier when people understand the nuances between the platforms and how we have to change aspect ratios and change this because that doesn't work that way on there, and like all these things. And so anyway, I'll say that's super helpful. Cam, thank you so much for coming today. Richard was trying to send me a question to ask you, but I can't find it anywhere. I told him, like, you're gonna have to resend it. I can't. I don't know. It's probably something to try to get you off topic. Per usual, because I don't know if you guys know that Richard and Cam are related. So anyway, and he likes to give.
It's probably about football. It's probably about soccer. He probably wanted to say something about Arsenal. Yeah,
probably.
They're doing well.
Seems to be the MO. Anyway, thank you so much for this, and I'll hand it back to you, Mike.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Elizabeth. I always said this from working in radio for years, but I always thought the best hosts were ones that were producers because they understood what was happening on the back end, so that when they had to do their job, they could like understand the terminology of what was happening. So I agree with that on so many different levels. Maddie, Smokes, tip, takeaway, homework, assignment.
Well, it was great sitting in with you guys, and it was definitely an awesome to listen in as I'm doing all the work. But I think my biggest takeaway was, as Jason was saying, to start taking podcasts and videos that are out there doing great, and then follow through on the transcription, throwing that into GPT along with my content, and really start evolving content from there and seeing what it does and doing a lot of different stuff and seeing what sticks.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Thank you,
Cam, last tip, takeaway, homework assignment, and last words from you.
Tip takeaway. I got to try and figure out this collaborator function really well, and I've got a few things lined up. I'm going to try it, figure it out. I think the tip is, I just wanted to really at the beginning push how powerful collabs are. I think collaborations are incredible. It's not just the boost you get; it's the relationship you can build with other creators as well. I didn't mention that, but obviously there is always a business connection, social connection advantage to this sort of thing too. And we aren't in. Some people in YouTube especially were like, oh, these are my competitors, etc. And it's just not the mindset that I have on YouTube. Like the niches and genres that you're in, you can grow the whole audience for it. It's not about dividing the audience. Do you know what I mean? Right. So collaborating is just helpful for everybody. That's the way I've always viewed, like, it's about YouTube. It's always been like one big, let's grow the entire audience, like, mindset.
Well, I enjoyed collaborating with you here today, Cam. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like every day.
Like every day. Yes. I'll send you some Slack notes and moments, as I'll need your help for something, I'm sure. This has been Rising Tides Live. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you to Cam for coming here. And as one note came in from Frank, Cam has some jewels he was dropping, definitely some great knowledge shared today. This gets repurposed as a podcast on digital hospitality, which will come out next week. And Pitch the Tide is on Friday. So thank you to everybody, Bruce, Maddie Smokes, Elizabeth, and everybody that was here earlier, Jason, Vincenzo. Appreciate everybody coming on here. Cam, thank you again. And we'll see you all on Friday. Have a great one, everybody.